If you are experiencing foundation issues, get a free estimate from Ox Foundations.
We're joined this morning by Sylacauga Mayor Jim Heigl. And Mayor, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Jimmy Dale.
Good to have you with us today. And sadness of note with the passing of State Representative Ron Johnson.
Ron Johnson, as we know him as Lizard, you know, a fine gentleman. We owe him so much, and he's gained the respect of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people over the years. And he was such a giving man. He never wanted anything. He didn't even care to have his picture made, you know, in groups and everything else. But he was so giving of himself. I mean, it's been like this all his life. Children that he's brought up and taken care of over the years, and the things that he's taken his own time to do. I mean, I've had breakfast with him over the years, and at Jack's and on, and then up to the hospital. We have lunch and everything. And every time I left him, he said, Jim, he said, if you need anything, let me know. And he was always like this. And actually, I took advantage of his position, you know, to help our city grow faster and also
Talk about some of the areas where he's helped Sylacauga.
Well, the biggest thing he helped us with was the non-contingent annexations this past time. He's helped us in the past with it, too. And he's got these, he's well respected in Montgomery, did a beautiful job down there. Everybody knew him. It wasn't too hard for him to get anything through the House, and then, of course, into the Senate, you know, and then, of course, to the governor to sign off on it. But a wonderful, giving man. I know he's up with our Lord right now. He's.
Yeah, he and you being a veteran know this more than a lot of people do. He was really pro-veterans in our country.
Absolutely. I tell you, I don't know who else in our area ever gave as much as he, and Bill Nichols is another very giving individual when he was with us, you know, and they just fall in there together. Ed Jenkins, he loved him. Ed knew his condition before some of us others knew it, because he confided in Ed, you know. He loved Ed. Ed, as you know, is one of our highest decorated veterans from this area because of the Vietnam War. But Ron, he's going to be greatly missed.
He was such a force when it came to education as well.
Absolutely. I mean, he loved children. I mean, there was no doubt about that. And in schools, he always told me, police, fire, education, responsibilities of the mayor, you know, in the cities.
When you had something that you needed Montgomery to take a look at, I'm sure probably your first stop was Ron Johnson.
It absolutely was. I mean, he from the 33rd district, he's looked after us. We don't have to go to him. He come up, we see him and so on, says, how can I help you? Do you need anything? He was always there. And you could sit there eating lunch with him, a phone call would come in, he'd talk to somebody, okay, I'll take care of it. They were in nursing homes. They were getting VA benefits. They were getting the help they needed. I mean, he looked after his people. He listened to them. He didn't listen to what the politicians were saying. He said he looked after his people.
Yeah, he would always say he worked for his constituents. He honored Governor Ivey and respected her, but he worked for his constituents.
He did. They came first. They came first in his mind. And he did a beautiful job of it. And like I said, I don't know if anybody's gained the respect from the people that he served, you know. We just don't know who all's lives he touched and how quality of life he brought to these people.
Yeah.
I mean, over the years, I mean, not just feeding them, getting them into nursing homes, getting them into the VAs, taking care of their utilities.
He'd go to those senior meetings and he'd cook for them, you know?
Absolutely, and no charge or nothing. It came out of his own pocket. Yeah. No, he wouldn't charge for anything. He'd come out there and bring your Boston butts and everything. And what was it, first Saturday of every month, he was down there at the Fayetteville and cooking.
Talladega Springs, Stirruple.
Oh gosh, he's going to be so well missed.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
There had several people to ask. There's no funeral services arranged at this time. No. They'll have a memorial service. I'm assuming after the COVID-19 kind of calms down, and there will be a lot of people that want to come to that service for him, for sure.
Absolutely. He's going to be well honored.
Yeah. Speaking of COVID-19, Governor Ivey mandated the mask requirements, went into effect yesterday at 5 o'clock.
Sure did. State proclamation said, to reduce the spread of COVID-19, I hereby add a mask requirement to the current stay-at-home health order. And that was her proclamation. A lot of people are getting confused about there. You know, there's going to be some people, I'm wearing it, you know, arrogant. But anyway, when do you have to wear a mask? I mean, you got that right here, and it says you have to wear a mask when you are in public and in close contact with other people. Specifically says to wear a mask when you are within 6 feet of a person from another household in any of the following places, referring to indoor spaces open to the public, public transportation vehicles, and outdoor public spaces where 10 or more people gather. Now, you can get this information from the newsletter number 2 at ALALM.org. It's on your computer. You can go Google that and bring that up, and you can read the whole thing right here. And it's very simple and very understandable, and it's for our own protection. This isn't trying to mandate something, force people into something. It's for our protection. We got to get a hold of this. Our area was down to right around 4% with some of these tests we were running. Now we're over 14%. That's how we knew it was going to jump. When they started getting a little lax, things started getting out a little bit, we knew it was going to jump, and it's happening. Right now, yesterday when we had our call in from the hospital, I think we had 4 people in ICU. No one was being vented. They were in there. And you had 6 others that were waiting to be tested. So that number has gone up a little bit.
There's a lot of concern statewide about ICU beds being very short.
Well, that's what I hear. I don't know how much of it is true. I know our beds can take up to 24 in our ICU unit. They've got the vents where they can split that up, put 2 on one ventilator and all that. But thank God we haven't had to come to that. The only person we had up there was one long-term, I think it was 50-something days. But thank goodness he tested negative. And he had underlying issues too, but he was able to go back to his long-term care. And we've been very fortunate in Sylacauga, and Sylacaugans are doing what they need to do. And it's for your protection, your loved ones, and your neighbors, It's very
Getting back
important.
to Ron Johnson just a minute, what a huge plus he was for our hospital here.
You better believe it. Yeah, the other people up there in the hospital on the board and everything else, he was a very advocate of our hospital. He lobbied for us. And our hospital is extremely important. It's in the top 10 of our state. We have to hang on to this hospital. And we serve so many people, not just here in Sylacauga, but throughout almost part of Talladega County, Coosa County, and neighboring areas they come into here. And a lot of our COVID testing are not Sylacaugans. They're from other areas.
Yeah.
They may be from Childersburg, Alpine, or down in Coosa County, or somewhere like that. And but our hospital is extremely important to our area. We have to maintain it, not just because it's the highest employer of our citizens, but for our general health of our people. And they do a wonderful job.
I can't imagine, I don't like wearing a mask. I'll be the first to tell you. I know it's important that we do that, and I do, but I don't like it. But I think about those nurses and doctors wearing those masks all day long.
There's different varieties, Jimmy Dale. Like this one here, this is a throwaway. I'll wear that on and off today, and I'll throw it away. There's others that have little filters in them where changeable, where they can change them out. Some are washable. There's all kind of designs out there, and some of them are kind of unique in a way. They got big lips on them or something,
You get advertising on them nowadays.
Putting advertising, which is great, But it's for our own protection. Yeah. And like I say, you can get these little throwaway things here, or else you can get the ones you can use over again. You get the ones you can read and wash.
Businesses. It's my understanding from what I've read into this from Governor Ivey that businesses can refuse service to individuals if they're not wearing a mask.
That's what I've read into it too.
And
people come up there and say, "Well, I went down there and the people were serving, but they didn't have a mask on." Well, I said, "Sir, personally, if I went in there, I would turn around and go somewhere else. I'm going to protect myself. I want to protect my family. I want to protect my fellow man. But I'm going to do what's necessary. I'm going to try and use common sense in this." But I know this country is so free about everything we can do, and we just hate to be restrained, but which is understandable. But we got to protect ourselves, protect our elderly, protect our young children, School
scheduled to start next month. Still some unanswered questions there?
Well, there are. Since this last proclamation came out, there is some questions on that. I'm sure that Dr. John Seegers, he's well on top of this with the state superintendents and all. They're all constantly meeting day by day. Our call-ins are Tuesday. We had a call-in yesterday, and they gave us a little update. But they have to look at this again. They had fairly well laid out, what they were going to do. It's going to be a lot of homeschooling, that's, or they'll have their tablets at home where they can do their homework at home.
Yeah. As the mayor of our city, completing your 4th year, you're out in public. What are people saying to you about this coronavirus pandemic?
Well, it's all mixed. Some people say, well, it's political. I'm sure there's some politics in this thing somewhere. But we look at the percentage of air that come into our hospitals. That's what we look at, the overall picture of it. And that's who are positive, who are negative. Sure, we got 10 people up there. Yes, we got 4 in the in ICU. And yes, we got 6 more that's going to be tested. And that's what we have to watch. Yes, we are testing more people. Absolutely, the number's going to go up. But we just got to watch how many are going to go home and be quarantined for 14 days.
Here's another thing that I know you've read this backwards and forwards, and I kind of call myself trying to kind of read into it what it was talking about with churches. You have church services, you've got a lot of people that's in there, and there's no mandate for the churches, but it's strongly recommended that masks be worn.
It is, and I'm sure that church is going to abide by it too. Yeah. I've been in the churches and talked to the ministers in the area and seen their churches, and they are spread out. They're 6 feet apart when they have their services. They're having more than one service a day. They're having, some have 2, some have 3, and some will come back on Wednesdays, It's but they're doing what they need to do. They're well aware of the situation, and they're not going to go into these churches and start getting too close to each other, because most of them, our church goers, are kind of, I wouldn't say elderly, but senior citizens. And
don't look at me when you say that. In the city of Sylacauga, at City Hall, the protocols and stuff still in place for you guys there?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, I put out a text yesterday to all the department heads and also to inform our 5 council persons what we are doing at City Hall. We will abide by this proclamation to the letter. One of our code department has a sign up there. We got glass up there. They'll just tap on the glass and we'll come out there and meet them in the lobby. They will not be coming in. We do not have that much traffic in our code department. My office will be the same way. That the secretary there will go out and speak to them outside rather than have them come into our working areas.
Sylacauga Mayor Jim Heigl is our guest this morning. We've seen a lot of instances across our country, here in Alabama even, of policemen being abused, policemen being spat upon, policemen being physically abused. Our department here at Sylacauga, you're the CEO of this city. Where are we with our police department here?
Thank goodness we haven't. As a matter of fact, I just saw Harry Brown on Broadway over there pulling an individual over going too fast. But we don't have those issues here. Our police department knows their people. We know our citizens and all. We haven't had those kind of issues. The problems we have had in shootings and all came from the outside, came into Sylacauga. But our police officers are very attentive to the public. They know that they are servants of the people. They're not here to dictate or tell them what to do, but they're here to help them every way they possibly can. And you've probably seen on Facebook where a police officer pulled over to help a boy with a bicycle who lost his chain.
Sure.
These are the kind of servants that we have in our police department, serving the public. You call them up, you need something, they're going to be there to help you.
Finally this morning, and certainly appreciate you taking time to be with us. I know it's a busy time for you and the leadership of our city. Where are we with this COVID? I mean, a lot of people, Mayor, let's face it, a lot of people are fearful
of course they are.
About this.
Oh, I worry about our elderly and the people with underlying health issues, because they're going to be more accepted to it than anybody else. And we're just going to have to keep following the trend. Like I said, the call-ins that we have, we'll probably go back to 5 days a week rather than 2 days a week on that. Find out where SAFE is at, the hospital's at, where the schools are at, where the fire department's at, where the city's at. And Bob Holmes, he's been directing that for some time now, and it's been very, very, very useful to us because we're coming together and understanding what's going on in our city.
Our local businesses have been affected.
Absolutely.
How about our local businesses and the city of Sylacauga as far as the coffers are concerned for the city of Sylacauga?
Well, the city of Sylacauga, we know that people are staying at home. Our tax revenue was up higher the first 5-6 months of this year than they were in 2019. I looked.
So they're spending it here.
They're spending here. They're staying at home. They're spending here. That's great for our city. Our tax revenue is doing very well. And our growth is going too. We've got people coming in there, contractors, developers, everything else. We just signed off on, I just signed off on a plat where part of the Hutton property over there has been subdivided for new businesses going over there. So we're looking forward to that. And we're working with these people to bring them here. And that's mainly one of my projects, getting with these people, talking to them, bring them into Sylacauga, show them what we have. This is very important. We're growing. We're still growing. We got a big project going on in the intersection of James Payton and
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah, and that's going to be a big project for LDOT. And I've got some commitments from LDOT. I'll go up there and meet them in September and meet with them again.
Do you think that's going to begin here this year?
Oh yeah, hopefully. Probably in the latter part of this year, October, when the weather's a little drier and all before it gets too cold. But we've got to get James Payton resurfaced. We got enough money now to do that. And also engineering went in there, EEF&S Engineering. Michael Rice, a wonderful guy. He's the one that helped us pave these 30 miles of road throughout the city, got our streets paved. And he's the one that's helped me to get in with LDOT to get in there and get the money, what we need for James Payton. We're also going to draw out an engineering design where you're going to have a sidewalk on the south side of James Payton Boulevard all the way from 511 all the way up to 280.
So walking on the edge of the road there,
That's right. People are doing it now, but now they'll have a safe sidewalk and it will be lighted. So we're looking at that growth. We're going to have it because what else is coming out there to Hutton, and what else? Well, you got a new store that's going to come out there next to by Walmart. It's I think it's 5 and under. I believe that's what they call it. That's going to be coming pretty soon. And we got a new beauty shop coming. We just got a new Chinese restaurant that opened up across the 280 over there. And but there's growth in Sylacauga, and we want to stay with these people and help give them a reason. We got to keep our quality of life up.
I understand. I understand. People are holding their breath about a new something in that 280. I'm just.
I know you are, Jimmy Dale. It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
All right.
That was reason this property out there was researched.
Your face is right from there.
I got to keep my mouth shut.
I got you.
No,
Okay.
But anyway, it was surveyed. I mean, that's public knowledge now. I've already signed off on that.
Do you think that in 2021?
Oh yes.
Okay.
Probably, hopefully, have breaking ground sometime this year, the latter part of this year.
Okay.
It's going to be good for Sylacauga.
Ladies and gentlemen, the buck stops right here. He's Sylacauga Mayor Jim Heigl. We appreciate your time this morning, Mayor.
Well, I appreciate it. Anything I can do for the people of Sylacauga, call me.
All right.
City call 401-2424 and or 2425, and be glad to help our citizens any way. I get calls all the time, and it's an honor and a privilege to serve the city of Sylacauga. It really is.
I call him so many times, ladies and gentlemen, he knows my ringtone now. Mayor, have a good morning, sir, and have a great
Thank
weekend.
you, Jimmy Dale. Appreciate it. Stay safe.
More Daybreak right after this.